My name is Greg Murray. I'm the photographer and owner of Greg Murray Photography. I love taking photos, whether it be people, events, photos of our beautiful city, the outdoors, but my favorite and my specialty is definitely pet photography. I like to capture that bond between people and their pets because our pets, and I know many can relate to this, are just like our children. We love them, we do anything for them, we invest in them. So it's important to me, just like people capture their children through photography, that we also capture pets. I think it helps that I connect with dogs really well. I'm a dog person. I've grown up around pets my entire life, and Kristen and I have two rescues at home, Leo and Kensie. I volunteer with the Cleveland APL as a pet photographer for them, and I donate a lot of my time and services to many different animal rescue organizations throughout the area. I offer studio photography, but most often you can find me outdoors, in the city, at people's homes, where the pets are most comfortable. Almost half of my sessions, the dogs have leashes, so I spend a lot of time after the session photoshopping the leashes out so it looks like it was never there. The number of photos that I provide my clients vary. I typically take well over 1,000 during a shoot, but when I provide the final edited photos, it can vary from 30 to 100. Oftentimes after sessions, the clients meet me in my studio and we can go over printing options, and those include canvas wraps, aluminum prints, frame prints. The options are endless. We can even do books. A lot of people take photos of their dogs on a daily basis, but I like to provide that wow factor. I pride myself in going above and beyond what it takes to make my clients happy. These to me are works of art that you can put up on your wall at your home or in your office, and people are going to be impressed by them. Each session I photograph is an opportunity for me to show a dog's personality. Stop by, bring your dog, and let's make something that you and your family will treasure forever.
Everybody, this is Greg Murray. The new book out is Peanut Butter Dogs. No, the first book, I should say, Greg did one book, it was Peanut Butter Dogs. This one is Peanut Butter Puppies. And he also has another book out about pit bulls, but we're going to talk mostly about Peanut Butter Puppies. You can follow Greg on The Greg Murray. Check it out on Instagram. So Greg, thanks so much. Greatly appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. I really appreciate it, Rob.
As a person that's a photographer, let me ask you this. What makes a good photographer?
Gosh, that is a great question. I think just someone with a good artistic eye and someone with a lot of patience, specifically when it comes to my line of work, which is dog photography.
Okay.
I'm probably one of the most patient people you'll ever meet. And but yeah, I think a lot of it's all about having a good eye, and that can go quite a long way.
So what made you want to dabble into pets and dogs specifically?
Yeah, I grew up with animals my entire life: dogs, cats, lizards, snakes, fish, guinea pigs, you name it, I had it. So I've always had animals in my life. And after I also grew up my mother sent me a lot of art classes and whatnot, so art's always been a part of my life. And in 2000, I don't know how much you know about my past, but in 2014, I left my 10-year career in corporate human resources and wanted to be a photographer, and was doing it on the side. Was doing a lot of cityscape and nature photography of our national park here in the Cleveland area. And I didn't really enjoy working with people and doing weddings and things like that. I just wanted to kind of combine my love for animals and art. And I picked up a camera in about 2010 or 11 and self-taught myself how to use a camera. And I left that career in 2014. So 7 years later, I run my own animal photography business. And like you said, I have 3 books out. And yeah, it's just combining my love of animals and photography and art.
GregMurrayPhoto.com if you want to find him on Instagram, The Greg Murray. Greg, as we keep going into this interview, we talk about Peanut Butter Puppies. Obviously, it just came out a few days back. I believe it was on the 23rd.
Correct.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it came out on the 23rd. We as of a week ago today, we pre-sold over 5,000 copies.
Wow.
Yeah, so the book has done, we're already in they ordered the second printing of 6,000 books before the book even got released. So it's doing really well. It's been featured, like you said, on People Magazine, on the Today Show, today.com mentioned it. It's been all over, and it's been a great release. And yeah, it's 70 rescue puppies between the ages of 8 weeks and a year old, 136 photos of dogs enjoying peanut butter.
Right. And I know as having two golden retriever lab mixes, they love peanut butter. That's like
Yeah.
when they hear that word, they're right there. So I want to talk more about this, and I do want to I hope people rather get this book, because with getting this book, Greg has given a lot of money back to rescue organizations. And if you want to talk about that quickly before we get into the book more in depth, you can. I know I think it was you were given $1 of every book
Yeah.
sold. Go ahead.
Well, this is really great news. So we were doing, my publisher was donating $1 per pre-order up to $3,000, and we reached that goal. So 3 different rescue organizations who featured or who adopted out dogs that were featured in the book each received or will be receiving, we did the drawing the other day at the book release, $1,000 from my publisher. So we exceeded that goal of 3,000, and we're able to donate all that money. And I do donate, besides that, I donate my books to a lot of rescue fundraisers and things like that. So if a rescue reaches out to me and asks for a signed copy for a fundraiser, I'm going to send them a free book and take care of that. Rescue and supporting organizations like that is extremely important for me.
Right. So as we kick, and I appreciate you for doing that. I think it's really taken off as far as rescues during the pandemic. A lot of people are at home. A lot of people in general, I think, will be working from home for a while as
Yeah.
far as all these Zoom meetings and stuff. So they are spending that valuable time now, obviously working, but also with their furry friends now. Have you saw that speaking to a lot of these rescue organizations that they're really getting a lot of these dogs that do need homes back into families?
Yeah, a lot of rescue organizations have been very busy the past year. I mean, rescue in general over the past 5, 10, 15 years is becoming more popular in general. I think people are realizing the importance of, in a sense, you're saving a life and making room for another animal to take that dog or cat's place. But yeah, a lot of the dogs that I photographed for the book, I did the photography last June, July, and August, were dogs, first-time dog owners. Some of them who working from home and wanted to bring a dog into the family, had kids at home and wanted to kind of give them another, family member to keep them busy. And they provide, mentally, animals are a wonderful gift to us. And I think a lot of people over the past year could really use something like that.
Well, you're just teeing off what I'm thinking about. I know quite a few people that I've talked to, whether it's been on radio or just in person as friends. They've been down on their luck, and the dogs really, they didn't save the dogs. They say the dogs saved them
Absolutely.
from, committing something that, they may not be able to come back from. So I agree with you there. These dogs are really lifesavers in general. And what made you want to do a photo shoot, I guess, on peanut butter and puppies in general?
Yeah, back in about 2013, we adopted a dog, Bailey, and my first book, Peanut Butter Dogs, is dedicated to her. Bailey was a Mastiff rescue dog, and I don't know how much you know about Mastiff, but really long jowls and kind of droopy faces. So even though they're not like sad or anything, they kind of have that look. So when I'd photograph her back in 2013 and 14, I'd give her peanut butter to make her look more animated. And that one photo that kind of inspired all this is in my first book in the beginning in the dedication page. Anyways, fast forward a couple years, in 2016, I had my first studio, and I just started photographing. I wanted to do a fun series of dogs eating peanut butter, inspired by Bailey, and those photos went viral. In 2016, I was interviewed by today.com, Huffington Post, all these websites, and even on TV a lot. And I started a Kickstarter to self-publish a book. And I don't know self-publishing is extremely difficult and expensive. So thankfully I didn't have to go down that route. A couple publishers found me and saw the news stories, saw the successful Kickstarter, and I got to pick, and I found a great publisher, and that kind of started everything. Then Peanut Butter Dogs came out in 2017. And then here we are. I was not going to do another peanut butter book. I did not want to do another peanut butter book. I was kind of sick of being called the peanut butter guy. But 2020 was a crazy year, and my publisher and I agreed earlier, last year, with everything going on in our world, whether it be politics or COVID,
Right.
let's do one more peanut butter book. And I was like really ecstatic about it, even though if you would have asked me like a year earlier, I would have said no. Because this book makes people happy, it makes them smile, and to be able to bring joy to other people's lives through something so silly is such an amazing gift and feeling.
You want to check more about Greg, gmurrayphoto.com. If you want to check him on Instagram, again, the Greg Murray on Instagram. Greg, let's kick this around a little bit more. So, do you know, because I always thinking about this, and now with your book, I think about it even more. What is the fascination with peanut butter with all these dogs that they love peanut butter? I mean, I like peanut butter personally too, but peanut butter to them, it's like a godsend when they get it. So what is it about that?
I think it's more, I thought about this the other day actually, and that's a good question. Dogs like everything, whether it be peanut butter or scraps off the table. I think it's more of a fascination of ours, giving it to them because it's so funny to watch them lick it. So I think you have to turn it back on us as, dog, if you hand them peanut butter, they're going to love it. If you hand them table scraps, they're going to love it. I think it's more of a fascination with humans watching the dogs eat it. Plus, it's also a great way to, a lot of people give their dogs peanut butter as a way to give them pills and medications and things like that. But yeah, it was a great question. And just the other day, I kind of thought about it. I think it's more us than it is the dogs. Because, dogs will eat just about everything. So
that's true. That's a good point. So I know you said the response for the book is good. Down the road, are we thinking of maybe another book to come out, not about peanut butter, but maybe another photography book? I don't know if you have anything up your sleeve yet.
Yeah.
I know this is kind of early on, but.
No, I signed another book deal.
Oh, wow.
I signed the book deal for Peanut Butter Puppies and another book at close to the same time. I was actually supposed to come out with another book at this point, unrelated to peanut butter. But given, like I said, 2020 and how crazy it was, we decided to switch the order. So yeah, I do have another book coming out possibly next year. We're kind of messing with the idea, but it will be rescue dogs, and it will be photography based, obviously. So I don't really know at the moment. We're kind of just still figuring out which direction we want the book to go. We're hashing out some ideas. And so yeah, I'll have my fourth book coming out in another year or so.
That's pretty amazing. And I think you're doing amazing work. All these dogs that you took pictures of, when you spoke about how they were rescue dogs, did they all get adopted throughout this process? Because I would think they would.
Yeah, so when I did the photography last summer, these dogs were in 3 boats. They were either in a shelter, or they were being fostered, or they were already adopted and in their forever homes. But yeah, all the dogs that were being fostered or adopted, or at the shelter, were rescued. So every dog in the book has an amazing home. Yeah, it's really great.
Great to hear, because, obviously the people work hard in those shelters, but no dog should be in a shelter. They should be in a, loving family home.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about this because I know you have a passion for pit bulls in general.
Yeah.
And I really want to get into that. As a person that's a sports fan, and I know you brought this up in another interview I listened to about the Michael Vick pit bull. You took a lot of pictures of them. If people don't know, because we have a lot of millennials that are listening that may be young.
15 years ago.
Yeah, Michael Vick was a former quarterback at Virginia Tech, also at with the Atlanta Falcons, rather, and he actually got into a lot of problems because he had a pit bull fighting ring at his house. and he had to pay some penalties for that. Me, I don't think it was significant enough, but that's my opinion. But Greg, you actually went to a ranch, I believe, in Utah, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of these facts, and took pictures of one of the dogs that was in that fighting ring at Michael's Vick's house. Can you speak about that experience? How was that dog? Because it was living out its life in a sanctuary that was really nice. But how was it? Did you see any kind of temperamental issues with the dog? Because it was put through so much stress probably throughout its life in that.
Yeah, so Best Friends Animal Society in Utah, Southwest Utah, and it's a beautiful place. I recommend anyone to visit it. Lots of different animals, dogs, obviously. But yeah, they received, I think, 22. I may be off by a little bit. 22 of the Vick dogs, and in 2007, and one of those dogs was named Meryl. Sadly, she recently passed away, but I mean, gosh, she probably lived to be 13, which is really awesome. So she was still pretty young when she left Vick's property and was rescued. It was a dream of mine. I live in a city that had a ban on pit bull type dogs,
Right.
and it's no longer here. But it was a dream of mine to meet a dog rescued from his property. So I reached out to the sanctuary and said, I'm working on this book. And they were all about it, thankfully. So it was really amazing. And we went to meet Meryl. Meryl does not have any issues. However, given her past, and great dog at the time when we met her, but given her past and everything, they play it very safe with her. They would hate for anything to happen. Obviously, that would not look good. So we were able to get very close, but I wasn't unfortunately able to pet her or anything. But, you know, she lived most of her life at this sanctuary, amazing dog. And I got to capture her interacting with her handlers for the book and everything. It was a really amazing experience meeting a dog that, you know, was one of, I forget how many, but they were the most famous dogs in the world back in 2007. And to meet a dog that went through so much, that was able to live its life out at a beautiful sanctuary in Utah was a very amazing experience. And it was really awesome. It really completed the book for me to have a Vick dog in there.
And the book that you're speaking about, Pitbull Heroes, 49 Underdogs with Resilience and Heart. If people want to look at that, it's also a book that Greg did take pictures of. So definitely check that out. We see all this bad information throughout media, throughout all these bands. There was one in, I believe that's where you're from, Lakewood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say there's the band in Lakewood. There's a band in, there was a band, I'm not sure if it's still on, in Montreal, Canada. But there's bands all around the country and all around the world. My thing is, and then I'd love to hear your answer on this, Greg, is the people that demonize these dogs, you know, have some serious mental issues in my mind. But people think pit bulls and Rottweilers are bad dogs because they're trained to be bad dogs, such as what happened with the Vick incident and other people that make these dogs fighting dogs. A dog is a good dog if you train it to be a good dog. If you harass the dog and whip the dog and make the dog fight, obviously it's going to be a bad dog. So what would you say to some of these people that, you know, say that pit bulls and Rottweilers and all these other dogs are vicious dogs? Because I personally believe, like I just said, Greg, that these dogs are not vicious. They're trained to be vicious.
Yeah. Well, a couple things related to the first part. Pit bull bans, luckily, are following left and right all over the country. Denver just got rid of theirs. They still have some form of breed-specific legislation, but Denver had a 30-year ban and they just got rid of it. Lakewood, Ohio, we had a ban for 10 years. We got rid of it a few years ago, which I write a lot about in my pit bull book, Pit Bull Heroes. So luckily they're following left and right because times are changing. I think so many people are rescuing, and a lot of those rescues happen to be pit bull type dogs, have blocky heads. But you know, what do I say to those people? First of all, and I don't like to bash the media, but the media does do a terrible job when it comes to reporting on dog bites. So, you know, if you're someone that just gets your information from the news, you're going to think pit bull type dogs are terrible dogs, because though, as you know, what the media does, it's all about clicks nowadays. And pit bull type dog bites get people riled up, and everybody shares and comments and clicks on the article, when in fact a lot of times those even aren't even pit bull type dogs. They're just pure mutts. Right. Or they don't report on the other types of bites that you don't hear about because they tend not to report on them. But you know, you mentioned how dogs are treated. Yeah, some dogs are treated very poorly. It also has to do with dog management and managing a dog properly, keeping them on leashes, keeping them on your property. Any dog that isn't properly controlled and is in a weird situation, or a stranger come up can bite. I know a lot of people that rescue dogs with terrible pasts because they want to give that dog the life they deserve, and they have to manage that dog appropriately. So, you know, a lot of dogs aren't trained to be bad. A lot of these pit bull type dogs or Rottweilers or Dobermans, they're not trained to be bad or fight. They're just not properly managed or raised. And a lot of these people that have dogs that bite or have these issues, or you see in the news, they're not bad people. They just make bad mistakes when it comes to managing their dogs. And when you leave a kid, you know, a 2 or 3 year old alone with a dog, whether it be a pit bull or a lab or a pure mutt, something bad can easily happen because you have a 2 or 3 year old with a dog. Right. And they're going to grab and they're going to pull, and bad things happen. So I know that's like a long-winded answer, but when it comes down to it, I leave it at this: all dogs are individuals and they need to be treated that way. Bans on certain types of dogs aren't effective public policy. They don't make cities safer. There's so many legitimate studies out there that show this. And, you know, we're better here in Lakewood after that we got rid of that ban, because we have stronger laws now. We have stronger leash laws. We have other laws that are actually enforceable and not based on what something looks like. Because when you base a law on looks, whether it be people related or dog related, it doesn't do anything. You have to have enforceable laws that are objective and focus on real objective things like leashes and making sure dogs are held on properties, and just there's so many different things. So sorry for the super long answer. There's so many different moving parts when it comes to animal safety and these laws.
If you do want to find more about Greg, gmurrayphoto.com. Definitely check it out, gmurrayphoto.com. Again, on Instagram, it is the Greg Murray on Instagram, the Greg Murray on Instagram. So, Greg, are the books still coming out, as far as you can get them on Amazon or on your website? Where can people get this book or any of your books?
Pretty much anywhere where books are sold: Amazon, Target, Barnes and Noble. And then your local bookstore. Usually, even if they don't have them, you can still order them through your local bookstore. So support your local bookstore. Right. I have them through my website. I sell signed copies so that I mail out myself. And so you can order a signed copy right from me, or again, get them online they're only $14.99, and usually they're on sale. So I'm biased, but it's a great book. It's hardcover. My publisher does a phenomenal job at making my books, and you know, I can guarantee anyone who gets it's going to love it.
So, Greg, thanks so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it, Rob.